Hey, it's another edition of Coffee with the Goose, where we talk about things that are interesting, fascinating, and irritating. Yes, I'm the Goose. Glad to bring you another show. We're going to talk boxing, big championship bout coming up this weekend. But before we go any further, we got to have our caffeine, right? My coffee, as you know, very strong. Oh, little puppy there. My coffee, very strong, just like my opinion, and got some creamer in there to make it sweet, just like me. Okay, here we go. A World WBC Featherweight Championship bout set for Saturday night in Atlantic City, New Jersey, and a couple of really good fighters about to do battle. The defending champion, a product of the Washington, D.C. area, is Gary Russell Jr. He's 31-1 with 18 KOs, 32 years old. The challenger is a great young Filipino fighter from the island of Bohol, and it is Mark Magsayo, Magnifico, and he is a brawler. This should be a good fight. These are two completely different fighters, though, so it's a very intriguing matchup. Let's go through the mini version of the tale of the tape, though, shall we? Gary Russell Jr., a left-hander. He's, again, 31-1 with 18 KOs, 32 years old. And Mark Magsayo, 26 years old. He's 23-0 with 16 knockouts. Now, the advantage, Magsayo has many advantages over Russell, even though Russell's a legitimate world champion. It's going to be tough to beat him. Only one person has. Magsayo has the advantage in his youth, of course. He's taller, and he has a 4-inch reach advantage. But Gary Russell brings a lot of things to the table. He is a very skilled, fundamentally sound boxer. He's a left-hander. And that right there gives him a distinct advantage. As you guys know, and this applies to many sports, especially to boxing, left-handers are tough to figure out. Now, Russell, on the other hand, fighting a right-hander, well, that's pretty much all he fights. He's used to battling the orthodox fighters. But being a left-hander, that's a little bit of a change for Mark Magsayo. He's got to figure him out. Gary Russell has quicker hands. He is a great counterpuncher, and not just very effective with the left hand. He's a lefty and powerful. But he, again, is a very fundamentally sound fighter. He has very effective right hand, not just the jab, but the right hook. He can hurt you from both sides of the plate. And he has good footwork. He is able to move in and out, side to side. He's very, very skilled. Again, he's been at this a long time, and he has a very strong resume. He's fought a lot of good fighters in his career. And he has, in my opinion, he has the advantage, of course, with the age and the experience. He has a greater ring IQ, ring generalship. He is able to command the action to his liking. Gary Russell is a very tough customer, very skilled customer, and he's been at this a long time. How about Mark Magsayo? What are the advantages that he has? Well, yeah, he's quick with his hands, but not as quick as Gary Russell Jr. He's a fighter. Yes, he's a boxer. He has the fundamental skills, but not to the point where he's as good as Russell, but he's a fighter. And we saw, especially in his last fight against Julio Ceja, you can be beating him, even dominating him for most of the fight, but one wrong move and it's lights out. Mark Magsayo has the killer instinct. He is a fighter, and he can hurt you with both hands. He throws devastating punches. He hits hard. And here's another advantage. He doesn't just have the killer instinct. He has the innate sense of knowing when you're hurt, and he's like a shark. Then he's going to turn it on and put you out. He has great power. I did a little math. His knockout ratio is almost 70%. That's pretty strong, whereas Gary Russell Jr., it's like, I think 56% or something like that. So he's much stronger. What are his weaknesses? And he does have weaknesses, and we saw it during the Ceja fight. Most of the fight, Ceja was brutalizing him with body shots. That's his main weakness. He is not as good as his protege, Manny Pacquiao, or even Gary Russell in just getting out of the way. Half of the battle is defense. You can throw good punches, you can have power, you can have all the skills offensively, but you got to learn, you got to know how to get out of the way. You don't want to be a punching bag, and he was for much of that fight with Ceja, but in the 10th round, he lowered the boom and knocked Ceja cold. This is a big opportunity for Mark Magsayo. He has fought in the limelight. His last fight, again, was on the undercard of the Manny Pacquiao fight. And so he's fighting in Las Vegas under the big lights, and he's used to it. He has the, he knows what it's like to fight in front of a big crowd, and he embraces it. Is it going to be an easy fight, though, for Gary Russell with all those advantages he has with quicker hands, being a counterpuncher, better footwork? No, it's not going to be easy for Russell, and here's why. Well, two reasons. Number one is he's had a really tragic year with his family. Not only did he lose his baby brother, he passed away, but his dad, who was his trainer, is battling severe health issues with diabetes. And just recently, he had a foot amputated. Now, Russell, in his own words, described the training camp for the Magsayo fight as chaotic. That's not good. You need to have calm, a good leader, a good trainer, a good coach in your corner, and it's got to be consistent. You've got to have a good game plan and a good, a good mentor on your side. And that's what his dad has always been. But that's not been the case with this training camp. Again, Gary Russell has labeled it chaotic. That's not good. The other weakness that goes against Gary Russell is his ring rust. Now, up until this fight, he's only really fought like once a year for quite a while. It's been enough, I guess. He's only lost once in his career. But now it's going to be almost 2 years. One just a couple weeks short of a 2-year layoff for whatever reason. Now, Russell says, don't worry about that. I'm active. I'm staying in the gym. I'm a gym rat. I'm always working out. That's good. But that does not take the place of ring work, ring experience. You can have all the experience in the world, but you got to stay sharp. And if you've been out of the ring with serious fights for 2 years, ring rust is kind of a loose term. I think what it's going to, the disadvantage that he'll be facing is timing. And timing is one of his strengths. It always has been. That would have been an advantage over Mark Magsayo in this upcoming fight, but he's not going to have that, in my opinion. When you're off and out of the ring for serious competition for 2 years, you're going to have that ring rust or loss of timing. You're still going to be in great shape. Yeah, you're still going to have all those skills, but you're going to be lacking, and it may be minute, the timing, the lack of timing. But when you're talking about world championship level fighting competition, that minute loss of timing can be more than minute. It could be a killer. It could really work against you. And so this is going to be a tough fight to predict. I'll make a prediction here, even though, hey, it's just, who am I? I'm not in the ring, But it's fun to be able to, dissect the two fighters and their different skills and weaknesses and how they match up with one another. Normally, if Russell was staying active, I would definitely give the advantage to him, no question. Gary Russell Jr. is a great fighter, and I like him. I respect him. But this is not going to be an easy fight. I'm going to say, before I give you my prediction, I'm going to say definitely if it goes the distance, Okay, if this goes the full 12 rounds, Russell will have the win because he's just too skilled fundamentally and has all those advantages. If it is a KO and does not go the distance, that's Mark Magsayo's game, and he'll be the winner. So now I got to give you my prediction. And again, this is, I've been wrong before. Not much, but I have been wrong before. But I am going to go out on a limb, even though Gary Russell is the favorite in this fight, and deservedly so, with the almost 2 years off and the timing maybe being a question and the chaotic training camp. I am going to give a slight edge to Mark Magsayo, and in that case, it will not go the distance. So I'm going to go with Magsayo for the win. The Filipino, the young Filipino from Bohol, will get a share of the World Featherweight Championship this weekend in Atlantic City, New Jersey. He'll be the WBC champion, and he'll take that belt from Gary Russell Jr. And we'll give you a show afterwards and, tell you, brag if I'm right and try and whine if I'm wrong. But I really think Magsayo is going to come away with the winner. That's it for this edition of Coffee with the Goose. Thanks, you guys, for watching. I really appreciate it. We're going to stay active now with the new year and more great fights yet to come. I want to read your comments. One advantage I have over all the other channels is I've got the smart viewers. You guys are sharp cookies, and I've learned a lot just reading your comments. So let me know what you have to think, and let's look forward to a great fight in Atlantic City, New Jersey. That's it for this edition of Coffee with the Goose. We'll talk to you guys again soon.